The Rick Grimes Show is here, finally, after how many years? Let's talk about it.
Burn it.
Okay, so episode 1 of the new Rick Grimes Show is now out and available for you guys to go and check out right now. Now, this is a show that I have been very excited for a long time now, because Rick Grimes is one of my favorite characters in The Walking Dead, and obviously we know what happens in The Walking Dead regarding his character and how he gets lifted off in the helicopter, and that's it. We never hear from him again. We just know he's alive because they deal with that in the later seasons. So they did announce they were going to do movies. That didn't come to fruition. So they were like, we're going to do a show. And it's been so long, but we finally got it. And look, season 11 of The Walking Dead was a mixed bag for me. Had some great stuff. Then had some stuff that just didn't satisfy me for a conclusion of such a long series that I've been following for a very long time. So I was very frustrated and disappointed with the ending of that. And I felt like not having Rick Grimes and his story run parallel with it and then crossing to, give us this epic conclusion that we deserved, just felt like it was a missed opportunity. Then they started doing the other spin-offs. I just lost interest, didn't really care for them. But this was the one. I wanted to see how Rick Grimes' story was going to end. And episode 1, they deliver just one of the most intriguing moments and story-wise with a character that we love than they did in the later seasons of The Walking Dead. This episode is already better than all of season 11 in my opinion, because this episode was just everything we were missing from that last season of The Walking Dead. Just everything that you can think of, this had. And what I mean by that is we have the mystery element of who is this government body. Now, we had the Commonwealth, and I just thought they were pretty bland and boring and generic, sort of like, government or evil sort of people. It's like we've already seen that. This one seems a little bit different. And I actually kind of liked where they were going with this whole entire army sort of environment that they were doing, and how, their secret, they sort of have this unique aspect about them that's shrouded in mystery that you don't see in the first episodes. You have no idea what their whole city and everything like that is like. You just know about the stuff that Rick's going through. So I really like that aspect, and I felt like that was done so much better already in the first episode than we got in with the Commonwealth. Because the Commonwealth was just, I don't know what they were thinking with that. I really don't. That was just, the less said about that, the better. But what I loved about this episode as well is it shows you just how cruel this world still is. And look, a lot of us who know about the comics and stuff like that know that Rick Grimes loses a hand. There was always going to be the theory was, will he eventually lose his hand in The Walking Dead? Or is he going to keep it? Are they going to keep it different? Well, this episode, we get the heart-wrenching moment of him losing his hand. And it is brutal. And it just set the tone straight away. It said like, this is a series that is, bloody gory, and people are willing to do crazy things to try and get free. And that whole scene was the epitome of that. And I absolutely loved it. And obviously it's an iconic moment in the comics. I mean, you could say to yourself, maybe there was a way he could have done it without cutting his hand off, but it's such an iconic thing in the comics that I understand why they went that route. And it makes sense. But then we have the Rick Grimes character himself in this episode trying to deal with the struggle of not being there with Michonne, not being there for Judith, and he's driven, his will to get back to them at all costs. Like, the man's willing to chop off his arm to try and get back to them. That's just that's Rick Grimes right there. That's Rick Grimes. So he's going through this struggle and, trying to figure out ways how to get out without doing it. Because these people, they don't let other people out. Because it's so secret, no one knows where it is. If they let people go and leave, people will tell other people, and obviously, word travels, gets back to them, and then who knows what could happen. So I love the aspect of Rick and his mental struggle right now and how he's trying to deal with that. They introduced new characters as well that I actually got quite fond of. Like the guy that is there, that's like sort of like helping Rick, but not at the same time. And I very much liked his character, because he's the character that's like, he's not evil. He's within the hierarchy of this organization in the army, but he wants to change it. He notices that this isn't how things should be run. So he wants to recruit Rick and this other South African chick. He wants to recruit them to change the way that it is. And I like that aspect. I was like, okay, this is an interesting character. And then you start to learn a bit more about what he went through and his traumatic experience and what he had to do. And you kind of sit there like, okay, this guy isn't doing this just because he wants to keep Rick there. This guy actually wants to change things going. So I really liked it. But then, of course, in Walking Dead fashion, you know, you just get attached to a character. And of course, in The Walking Dead, there is a rule. No one is safe. There's literally no one is safe. Anyone could die at any moment. We've seen that throughout the whole entire series. Some of our favorite characters just die. Well, just as soon as I got attached to this guy, towards the end of the episode, what do? They kill the guy. And they just kill him. Dude, it's like insane how he dies. Like, he gets shot through in the helicopter, and then it explodes his body and blood goes everywhere inside. I'm sitting there like, oh my days. I was not ready for it. And I was like, I totally forgot. It's The Walking Dead. Anyone can die at any moment. We've seen that. And yeah, it caught me by surprise. And I was like, well, that was a character I really enjoyed. Well, he's gone now. But the ending was brilliant. I really like the ending, the whole confrontation with Michonne. And she's like just ripping these people to shreds. And then, look, I know, I get it. I get the ending there where she's just slicing them completely. And then she gets to Rick and she lifts the helmet off before she slices this one person's neck. It's kind of like, she didn't do it for the other one, but this one. And I was kind of like, maybe you could have done one where the helmet fell off Rick and then she sees Rick that way. So that's a little like nitpick right there. It's kind of like, well, you didn't do it for the other ones, for why all of a sudden this one? But then obviously they get the shock that they see each other. Rick was basically almost fully giving up hope that he's not going to see them anymore, that he's just going to stay and try and change and save the world. But now obviously Michonne's there, so I'm interested to see what the dynamic's going to be, how everything's going to happen, because the helicopter's gone down. I don't know where they are. So I'm excited. So next week's episode is going to be all about Michonne now. So we just had an episode fully about Rick and his struggle and what he's been doing for the last 5 years and how he's been, you know, coping mentally and where he is. Now we're going to see Michonne and her struggle of trying to find Rick, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see all that. And then obviously moving forward from there, we're going to see the two interlock and continue that story. So look, this first episode was good. It really got me, you know, back invested in this world and wanting to see more of this story. This is the story we've been waiting for. The story that we needed. The story that we should have had while season 11 was running. This is the story that should have ran parallel with season 11 and then crisscrossed to give us that conclusion we deserved. So, fingers crossed they land. So far, good episode. Very happy with the first episode. Introduced as well. Brilliant. And the score is absolutely incredible. Really loved it. So, let me know your thoughts on episode 1. Did you guys love it? Smash down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.